What is up, cool kids? My name's Gavin, I'm that cool trainer, and we're here again today because Abby is sick, and we haven't been able to film any Soul Link for today or tomorrow. So I'm doing some team builder stuff today. And my lighting's weird because I'm filming during the day, which I don't normally do, and I haven't figured out quite the right settings for that. But we're here today testing out a Trick Room team, which I know isn't really anything new, but a lot of people don't take Oranguru as seriously as they should, in my opinion. So this team is going to be focused almost entirely around Oranguru for a good number of reasons. So we're going to start off right with the man himself, Oranguru. So you can see we've got Psychic, Instruct, Protect, and Trick Room, holding the Mental Herb with Inner Focus as our ability, with 212 HP, minus Attack Nature. I think it's Bold Nature with 220 Defense and 76 Special Defense. This combination right here with Mental Herb and Inner Focus virtually guarantees that you get a Trick Room up. There are two ways that is basically like, there are only two ways for you to not get Trick Room up. They have to either double you and try to kill you, which this thing is so friggin' fat, man. To have 192 HP and 140 defenses is incredible. So stinking bulky, short of a Ground MZ from a Garchomp and maybe a Psychic from a Lele, or switch those two up, like Psychic MZ from a Lele and Earthquake or Dragon Claw from a Garchomp. Not too much is going to be taking you out, even in 2 hits. You can debate whether you want to run Mental Herb or Citrus Berry, because if you find that you're getting double teamed more often than you're being taunted, switch to Citrus. Because the first one will probably take you below half, and then you can just heal right up, and then almost guarantee the second hit won't kill you. Or, if you find you're being taunted, you can use the Mental Herb. The only other way besides double teaming you is if they double taunt you, which almost never happens. And Inner Focus basically guarantees you're getting Trick Room up because you can't be faked out, and you're not going to get any random flinches from things like Rock Slides. So Oranguru is pretty incredible. Oranguru has to be the fastest thing on your team that you want in Trick Room. So we'll look at speed. I probably can decrease the speed a little bit, to be honest. I'll look and see what the rest of these guys' speed is up there. But you want the speed as low as possible with it still being your fastest mon. Because when you're in Trick Room, you want Oranguru to be moving second, not first. So that you can instruct your Pokemon to do something, to use the move it just moved. Use the move it just used. But we'll get into that mechanic a little bit in a second. So we're going to go to Gastrodon. I'm not in that frame. Oops. There we go. Going to Gastrodon. So we've got Gastrodon, one of my top 10 favorite Pokemon to use. Actually, probably like top 5 favorite Pokemon to use in VGC. Just because it's phenomenal, man. Like, you see a double duck lead, bring your Gastrodon in the back, switch it in first turn, almost guarantees, because double duck lead almost always leads with a either a Tailwind or a Protect from the Pelipper and Water MZ from the Golduck. Water MZ from the Golduck does nothing because of this thing right here. Storm Drain sucks up all water type abilities, makes it immune to water, and it's basically a water type Lightning Rod, which is incredible. Also helps out with things like Thinnies or the random Golisopod that might see, and Gyarados. This thing is a phenomenal Pokemon, especially if you want to run more than one Pokemon that's weak to water, which is not all that uncommon with like things like Marowak and Gigaliths kicking around out there. For our item, we go with an Aguav Berry, which same thing as like Figgy Berry, restores half health when you're down below a quarter. And with how bulky this thing is, you're going to be living most hits, not incredibly well, but well enough to pop your Figgy or your Aguav and then get back up to between half and 3/4. So for the moveset, we have Fissure. That is one of my favorite things, is Fissure instructing, because you have let me do some quick math here, because Fissure has 30% accuracy. So if it's got a 70% chance to miss, multiply that by itself, you have roughly a 50% chance to kill something, unless they protect. Because 0.7 times 0.7 would make it the chance to miss times the chance to miss again, gets like 4.9. So you have a 51% chance to kill something, which is incredible. We have Scald to pick up some burns, and for like if there's double duck, Scald does surprisingly good damage coming off of, I think it's like base 92 special attack, especially if you get to that +1, Scald's going to be doing some pretty good damage. I liked for Toxic over Protect on my Gastrodons, or Toxic over Ice Beam, because, yeah, once you get the +1, the Ice Beam is going to hurt, and Protect is always useful on pretty much any Pokemon, but it's nice to have Toxic for things like the Snorlax, for things like Porygon 2s, and then you can just spam Recover, because not too much is going to be strong enough to kill you outright if you just keep spamming Recover. And EV spreads make it, again, same thing as Oranguru, as bulky as literally possible, because the whole point of Gastrodon is not power, it's to eliminate threats immediately, toxic things, and sit on the field forever. So then we go to Snorlax, which is something that I've not really used. I've had it used against me to great success many, many times, but I've never personally used it. So I like Curse a lot better than Belly Drum, because Belly Drum immediately pops your Figgy. You could run Belly Drum Recycle, but I think Curse does a better job, because if you lead Oranguru Snorlax, you can Trick Room Protect first turn. Snorlax will definitely be going faster with a 31 speed. Then you can Curse, Instruct the Curse, and when you're in Trick Room, Curse basically gives you +1 attack, +1 defense, +1 speed. So in one turn, you can get +2 attack, +2 defense, +2 speed, which is incredible. So you can instruct boosting moves as well as damaging moves. And we run high horsepower for single target ground type damage on like the Magnezones, the Arcanines, pretty much anything that is not a flying type. And then we have Body Slam. I choose Body Slam over Return for the Para Hacks. I like RNG, so that's the kind of thing that I like doing. The drop in power is really noticeable. Like Body Slam's 85, Return is like 102. So it is definitely noticeable, but getting something paralyzed is can be huge in a game. It really can. And then also, same thing, with a little bit different. Max HP, 116 defense, 140 special defense. I chose not to do max attack, and I'm gonna double check and make sure Figgy Bear still works and doesn't confuse me. I'm pretty sure as long as it's not an attack down nature, I'm pretty sure Figgy works. But I chose that with a brave nature to increase attack. But I think I might increase special defense a little bit more. So let's do this. Give you 84. We'll do that, because at +1 we go to what for our attack and defense? 143 times 1.5. We go to 214 because it rounds down. It's 214.5, but Pokemon rounds down for stats. So you go to 214 for attack, and 96 times 1.5. You get 144 for defense, which is still not phenomenal, considering not fully invested. Its special defense is still higher, but like when you get to +2, this thing's living forever, especially because you still have your Figgy intact. So Protect, obviously, you want Protect, and that's also why I like having Curse instead of Belly Drum or Cycle, because it does give you the option for the Protect. This thing is really, really hard-walled by Drifblim. It literally cannot touch Drifblim. So you're going to need options on your team to cover Drifblims, especially because of how often it's seen now, and that's why we have some toxic stuff on Gastrodon. Arcanine can handle it with a Wild Charge. Gliscopod can sort of handle it with Liquidations and Aqua Jets. And it especially helps, or Sucker Punch. I'm not running Sucker Punch on mine, but you can definitely do that. You just have to make your prediction game really strong because most Drifblim only carry one attacking move, so you have to predict things pretty well. And so we covered these two, so we're on to Porygon 2. My Porygon 2 is a little unconventional, and people, at first you think, why are you running Oranguru and Porygon 2 on the same team? Like, why do you need two Trick Room setters? But that's because this Porygon 2 is not a Trick Room setter. What it is an analytic boosting special attacker. So we run almost full HP. We run 244 HP, 252 attack, modest nature with 12 special defense. And I don't make it as slow as possible because we want this thing in the middle of the road. We want this thing to go after the thing that it's hitting because that's when we get the analytic boost. If it's the last move in a turn. So we want this thing to... Actually, I probably want you fast then. 80 speed. Analytics not as good in doubles as it is in singles, I will say that. But it can give you a decent amount of power. It's also a good thing to have. You know what? No. I am going to make it min speed with IVs. I'm not going to get min speed with that, just because I want foul plays to hurt less. Because 65 usually will be going slower than most things outside of Trick Room anyway. But we have normal Eviolite, Analytic, not normal Analytic, but we have Ice Beam, Discharge, Tri-Attack, and Recover. I don't go for Return because we don't have download, so there's no way for us to get the +1 attack. Tri-Attack, super nice, with a 20% chance to potentially have half its damage, shut it down completely, or half its speed and make it so it can attack sometimes. So Tri-Attack is phenomenal. Discharge, also for the hacks for paralysis. Ice Beam for Garchomps. And yeah, that's pretty much Porygon 2. It can function in Trick Room, don't get me wrong. But this Porygon 2 and the Arcanine are for when we don't have the Trick Room up. Because Porygon 2 is significantly less bulky without all the defensive investments, but it's still bulky enough to live probably 2 hits and get off some really good damage with analytic boosted things. So what do we got next? Arcanine. This is a very, very offensive Arcanine. We're running Fire MZ, full attack, 248 speed with Jolly with 8 HP. We're running Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, Protected, and E-Speed. And I run this, it's pretty standard for Jolly Arcanine. Fire MZ is really nice to have. Big, big, big damage. Like, huge damage. Especially if, like, when you get the random, like, Torkoal, so you have the sun up. Kills so many things. Wild Charge there for Finnies and the Gyarados. Obviously, gotta watch out for Marowak. Marowak hardwalls this thing so badly. But that's why we have the Gastrodon. That's why we have the Golisopod. So what else do I want to say about Arcanine? I don't really know. I think that's pretty much it for Arcanine. Arcanine's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm going to go to the Golisopod. Golisopod is another one that I've not really used all that much, but I'm really excited to have it on this team. So I'm running All Stab with Aqua Jet, First Impression, Leech Life, and Liquidation. You can switch probably Aqua Jet for Sucker Punch if you are super worried about like the Drifblims and you really want more super effective damage on the Drifblims. But like I said, you need your prediction game to be really on point there, though. What else? What else even do you get, to be honest? You could run Brick Break. You could run Bulk Up. Same thing. You can instruct Bulk Up Oranguru. You'd have to switch the Assault Vest off. And I run Assault Vest because its HP is passable. It's not awesome. Its defense is fantastic. So you don't even need to invest in that. And then with an Assault Vest, this thing is so friggin' tanky. Because that gets you to over... I mean, that adds 55 points. So it gets you pretty much 160 in both defenses, which is crazy, because like if you look at Oranguru, so you have 182, 160, 160. Oranguru has 192, 140, 140. So you're on the same level of tankiness, probably a little bit more tanky than Oranguru, which is crazy. Emergency Exit, not an awesome ability, but I don't mind it because it gives you a chance to get first impression off again. Huge damage with a base 90 always goes first move. Lele does shut this thing down pretty hard though between those two moves, but I'm pretty sure Lele dies to a liquidation. I'll calc that in a second. But when I was trying to figure out what Pokemon to put in the last slot on this team, I was having some trouble because I was like, well, what hurts the first 5 on my team? And also I have a pretty big weakness to fighting, between like having no resistances and being Snorlax and Porygon being weak to fighting. And I was like, Hariyama, especially in Trick Room, Hariyama is a huge threat. So I decided to look and see like what things are bulky, hit hard, and resist fighting. And I came across Golisopod. So I calced exactly how much a Guts boosted Hariyama Close Combat does to this spread on a Golisopod. And I'll show that to you really quick if I can find it. Yeah. So 252, Adamant, or Brave, doesn't matter. Guts boosted Hariyama Close Combat does minimum a third, max 40%. It's almost a guaranteed 3-ko. So you can pretty much you can end Hariyama's with this thing, because even what's Hariyama's base speed? 70. Yeah, so you will outspeed it in Trick Room. You will definitely outspeed it in Trick Room. So you can hit it once with a liquidation. Might not kill it. I'll take a look at that actually. So liquidation. What is Light of Ruin? What is that? I'll look that up at a different time. Okay, liquidation. Liquidation. Guaranteed to go after burn damage. That's what that says. Burn damage. So you can get big damage off on it, and or if you're not in Trick Room, it'll hit you with a close combat. We'll put Hariyama at -1 for defense. Well, you're not full HP, so we'll put you full HP. See how much damage you take. Okay, so close combat does that. Guaranteed to go after burn damage, even at -1. We'll put you in neutral. Pretty much a guaranteed 2-ko, no matter what. So that's really good counter, because outside of Trick Room, you can take close combat, hit it back at -1 to do around 70. Probably roughly 75 is the average there. 75%, and then we can see how much Aqua Jet does. So much Aqua Jet does. Aqua Jet will pick up a knockout most of the time. So it hits you with close combat, gets to -1, you hit it, do 75%, hit it with an Aqua Jet, kills. So really good counter to the Hariyama. There's not really almost any fighting type Pokemon outside of Hariyama seen in VGC. You get the occasional fighting type move on your Arcanines, like close combats on your Arcanines, close combats on the Mudsdales. Well, other than that, you don't really see anything. Occasionally you'll see a Lucario, which we also handle really well, between being resistant to both stabs. So Golisopod's a really good fit on this team. Like I said, you can switch off, give it a leftovers, and give it bulk up. That'd also be really good. You might have to invest in some special defense in that case then. Like take some out of... If you want to do that, I would say probably... I would do 196, 19... I would do 196, 200 is what I would do. And then the rest in special defense. And then give it leftovers and bulk up instead of probably Aqua Jet, because you want Leech Life on there for recovery purposes. How much? Wow. Okay, this is going on really long. I don't want it to be this long. So that's what I'm running. You guys can decide for yourself what kind of spreads you think you should run and all that jazz. So thanks for watching this. I'm gonna hop in the shower real quick because I have not showered yet today. I'm a scumbag. And then we're going to test this team out. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video as much as I did, please like and or subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch at ThatCoolTrainer. And until next time, Smile you later.